Today we're going to be going through a process called potting up. Potting up is when we move small seedlings into larger containers. This is an optional step in the planting process because if you don't need to do it, it can take up unnecessary time better spent elsewhere. That being said, we usually complete this step at our farm for two main reasons. The first reason is that a field or a bed where we want to plant a specific seedling might be filled with another crop for the time being. This means the other crop isn't ready to come out, but the seedlings are ready to go in. We don't want our seedlings' roots to be constrained, but we also don't want to pull up the other crop too early. So we transfer the seedlings out of the seed sowing trays and into larger pots. The other reason we pot up is because we're planning on selling or giving away the seedlings and need them to be in a stable, singular container. At our farm, we grow plants for other community members who may need to transport growing seedlings without the hassle of taking a whole tray with them. So placing seedlings in an individual container makes sense. The most common universal reason for potting up is to allow the seedlings more room to grow. Leaving seedlings in the small hole of your seed sowing tray is not where they will be able to grow to their full potential before you put them in the ground. The new pot will be bigger, have fresh dirt, and the seedlings won't have to feel the pressure of their neighbor crowding their space or roots crowding the container. It's very important to pot up at the correct time. Only pot up once there are a few true leaves on the seedling. True leaves are the next set of leaves after the initial baby leaves. We want to find the time when the seedling is no longer just a sprout, but also doesn't yet feel constrained in its container. At our farm, we use peat pots to pot up. Peat is decomposing matter found in bogs. Peat isn't the perfect material to use because peat does not reproduce as quickly as humans harvest it, but the alternative option is to use plastic, so peat is actually a more sustainable option. Peat pots are more expensive than plastic pots, but they're also compostable, meaning that when we decide to put the potted up plant into the ground, we do not have to take the seedlings out of the pot. All we do is rip the bottom off the pot to allow the seedling's roots to reach the soil before placing the pot and the seedling directly into the ground. This also means you don't have to risk stressing or damaging your plant when you eventually put it into the ground. Once we are ready to pot up, we prepare a potting soil mixture, which we demonstrated how to make in the seed sowing video. You place an entire tray of pots in the container with the potting soil and scoop dirt into the pots. It's important to not press down on the soil once it's in the pot. Pressing down on the soil will get rid of air pockets and make it harder for the seedling to thrive. That being said, be sure to fill the pot all the way to the top with soil. When the pot gets watered later on, you don't want the water to push the soil too deep into the pot so that it exposes parts of the seedling that need to stay covered in soil. You could also fill the pots one at a time by scooping it into the soil and then skimming off the top. Once pots are filled with soil, we make a hole for the seedling. We like to insert our pointer finger and middle finger as deep as we can into the pot. Pushing those two fingers into the soil up to where they connect with your palm should create the perfect depth for the seedling. We like to make lots of holes and then start to place the seedlings. We pop them out of the trays with popsicle sticks or our fingers. We push up from the bottom and let the seedling fall into our hands or gently wiggle them out, being careful not to damage the stem. Once the seedlings are in the holes, gently pat down the soil around them, making sure not to cover up any leaves or parts of the stem that should be exposed to the air. After we finish potting, we water the plants and make sure to always keep them moist. Soil in peat pots actually dries out faster than in the trays, so it's extra important to keep an eye on the seedling's moisture. Eventually, when we're ready to put the seedlings in the ground, we harden them off, which is a process we explain in the transplanting video. Now you're ready to pot up your seedlings to sell them, give them away, or buy yourself some more time before putting them into the beds. Check back here for more videos coming up about the anatomy of seeds, irrigation, greenhouses, and more. Thanks for watching.